v.h.s.x? What do you mean?
We're back after like a week of not playing DBD on Ghostface today, so I want to go ahead and review the matches that I recorded pretty much the day before this gets posted. So this is very, very fresh, very recent, and I'm just going to review my games to see where I could definitely definitely improve on, because I know that after being away for about a week, you're definitely going to get a little bit rusty. So I want to go ahead and see what the vibes are here. We tried to mind game it there. We just were not able to get enough distance to get anything substantial, so we just pull the pallet out and call it a day. We start leaning off of the generator, start getting that, and then we also get a free M1 because they're surrounding me to prevent me from being able to use my mark, which obviously, now here is where I fumble. I should have broken that wall to get my power back and then just left the area, because this is House of Pain, and because of the way that it's positioned, the way that it's structured, it's just not a good idea. Now, I try to mind game it here. Pretty much impossible to really do anything here. We try to do something different to kind of throw them off, but they don't have to move. They can just camp pallet and wait. As you can see, even if I try to mind game it, I just will not be able to reach that side to even get the lunge in the first place. So it just wasn't worth wasting that time, and because of that wasted time, now they already have a gen at 99. Now I tried to lean off of the tree there to get some marking on different survivor, but of course Kate was the one that gets marked, so now my mark is invalidated. So that was a massive misplay on my part. I should have been a little bit more careful. Now I try to go into the shack assuming they would want to go around it, but I didn't realize the window was on that side. That was once again fumble on my part. And then here I go for stalking, assuming for a little bit too long. I could have saved a couple of seconds if I had just quickly pressed it, realized it was Claudette, it was injured, and then just gone for the down pretty easily. Now, judging by the positioning of the survivors, judging by, like, as you can see, just by all of, like, just from everything I'm seeing at this up to this point, we know it's a Swift. Just the way that they're positioned, the way that they're standing. You can see one on the left side, one on the right side. Like, they're all like coordinated and very specific. Randoms can't pull stuff like this. Like, they can't pull positioning this perfect unless they have comps. Because you're saying you got one in the background who's gonna be trying to ready for a save, while the Kate's in the other side, also waiting to make sure that they can try to close in for the save, while Nia's in the back trying to bait the you know what I'm saying? Like, all of this is going on definitely in a Discord like call or something like that, voice chat, whatever have you. Like, they're in a party or something, just calming, because you already know it's too specific. You know what I'm saying? It's way too specific. We can definitely see its comms. Now you're gonna see here, I try to use that to my advantage by getting them getting it to seem like I'm chasing the Kate. For some reason, didn't get the M1. It looked like it said I just didn't confirm my hit. It looked like I hit something, but it just didn't confirm my hit. Now I went for the grab, it just didn't go through. I probably shouldn't have even done that in the first place. Because of the way that grabs are in this game, like, they're just very finicky. They don't really work, and it has a lot to do with server lag. So it would have been better to just wait it out and just get the down that way. And then here is where I fumble again. I have Olsen's wallet. I didn't break. I should have broke this wall the second I saw it, because when I'm going into this house, usually I'm eyeing the doorways and I'm like, okay, which door do I actually have to break? Because I know a lot of people like to break both. I'll break the one that matters more in order to use that as an advantage here. Now you're gonna see right here, if I had, and I break the wall open this time to get my power back, but that just wasn't necessary. Because if I leave that wall open, they can, from around that side, rotate back in and then vault. And you're gonna see that again in a future chase. It actually kind of cost me extra time because I didn't leave that wall closed. And then with something like Batum and something like tough maps, because I do play on all the maps in the game, a majority of the time, I normally would recommend running map offerings and stuff like that, especially if you're going for a streak or trying to enjoy the game for once. But in this instance, I was just trying to jump in and just kind of see whatever the game has to throw at me, as that's usually the best way to try to warm up, really just see what the game's randomness is going to give me. Now we do see their neon shirt there, so that does mean that we know where they are. We do go around it, as we probably should. And we, of course, we gotta keep an eye on them, right? So we know that they're gonna rotate for the save here. They ran past Claudette so that she could get the body block, so very coordinated. I shouldn't have even done that, because I was trying to down Nia to get the trade there, but that just wasn't a good idea. Like, I already got the M1. If the Nia went for the body block, should have just went for that. or just waited out the endurance. Because hitting the endurance, like, only matters if they have off the record, but if they don't, then I'm just wasting, extra time that I don't need to have, especially with a character that doesn't have, chase potential, really. So, we do end up getting another body block off of Adam. We were pretty much at 1 gen, as you would expect, because the gens are very, very rapid, regardless of, regardless of anything. The gens are going to be rapid, especially at this level. So, we get the down. I assume that they would probably just, like, heal. As you can see, the gen already flies. And we're pretty much at least got 1 out of the game, right? If I didn't eliminate Claudette at the time, would have lost the game. It would have just been over with. But, could I have prevented some of this stuff? Probably. I mean, I could have played it a lot better from the start. Because with a map like this, especially this variation of Batum, it's in such a way that and you're even seeing when I'm walking past this area, there's 3 pallets all connected in a little triangle, and then that is also connected to main building over here. Well, I don't know if this is considered main building, but considered to one of the connected to one of the houses, and that's tough. Like that's tough. Now, as you're gonna see, they're busy pointing and stuff like that, so I figure we can at least go ahead and mark one of them. We got the other 199 in case we need it. I figured that I can at least try to go after the Kate here. We have Spirit Fury, so this will allow us to get the down pretty much on time when we need to, because this map is very pallet dense, and we do actually get the M1 there. So I figured I would have to slug and then go for Adam and then try to get some pressure off of that. Probably didn't need to kick that. That was actually like wasted time, but I was trying to see if I could spot anybody closing in for a save. Now, I just don't, I mean, from this map has also a lot of hiding spots. As you can see, there's a lot of clutter and stuff like that they can use. And then, of course, background player just gives them exactly what they need. So I have no reason to then continue chasing the Kate or the Nia, because we just lost all our pressure from a single perk. So that cost me too much. I figured let me at least mark the Nia as much as I can, and then we just go ahead and start checking on the generators, because we just don't have any information or anything else that we can use here. Now, judging by how it was before, because Adam is in love with hiding and rushing out the gen, what I decided to do was go ahead and get the mark on him. We know that he's a clown, so we can definitely go for him because he loves staying away from the action. And then that's when we go ahead and hook him next to this gen to protect it as best we can, while we're assuming that they're going to go heal themselves, because that's what they've done before. And especially with the body blocks and stuff like that, for a fact that they're definitely trying to lean into the altruism. Now, Nia's like allergic to gens, I guess, because she's never on one, so that's good for me. We go ahead and check the shack real quick, just to make sure. Maybe they're on that gen, but it had no progress anyway, so I probably didn't need to do that either. But I see Kate. I don't have any way to stalk them. I probably could have, but then it also would have risked, like, the risk was much higher at that point. And then I go for the M1, but it collided with the hitbox of the tree, so that was just massive shambles. This time is what I'm going to show you, actually. I left that wall open, which I probably didn't even need to do. He had Lithe, obviously, and the other one is obviously just clicking, losing their minds. We try to use it to our advantage. I figured that maybe they had Dead Hard, but they just ended up going for some kind of spin around somehow. I wasn't really sure how that worked, but hey, I still got it. And I figured that the position of Nia where she's at, I mean, I probably could have just slugged and gone for Nia, but we didn't have Spirit Fury, so we still would have had to deal with like the 3 to 4 pallets around main building that we never cleared. So it would have wasted even more time. Now, what I also could have done was gone for the basement in the main building, which probably could have provided more pressure, but it also was actually it would have wasted more time because of the time it would have taken to go pick up, walk around, go down the hole, then go down the stairs, then go on the hook. It just would have lost the gen anyway. So I figured we at least chase the Nia to try to get Kate to come for the save. That's why I was trying to kind of look around and see if Kate would close in for it, and then get the pressure that way. But it didn't really seem like that was the case. So what I did was mark them, break the pallet, and then we just go ahead and follow through with them to see if we can get another one. Which now you're just seeing they're just slamming down every pallet they see. So I figured that they're probably, once again, I'm going to say they're on comms, because of the fact that they must know that I either have Enduring or Spirit Fury of some kind, because they, easily just continue to just pre-drop every single pallet regardless of what it was, right? So I figured, well, I can just force out the Atom here. I probably could have broke that pallet to get my power back, but what I decided to do was at least stay within this area, keep an eye on the door, force out the Atom, and then we can try to at least get the Kate or the Nia, and secure at least a 3K. Now, in this instance, I figured that I probably could have definitely played it a lot better in certain areas. I figured that with a map like this, I should have. It's kind of like Swamp, where like you kind of need to know where the hot spots are where you don't want to chase. In this instance, that other side across the street with the House of Pain, Shack, like that area just needs to be ignored. Not a good area to be in. Now, this Kate here is just really trying their hardest to push out the door, which we just immediately go for the hook instead. That's all we really have, because by the time I would go to find the Nia, she's probably going to just hide. She's full health, so she'll just hide in a locker or something and be completely fine. So I figured I would just at least, you know, put them in this back corner of the map next to the door, and then from there just wait out the angle, which they just crank open the other door, so, and then they just kind of fly out. Which I was looking at the angle from where they might have, you know, kind of ran from, but they just ran out the door, so I figured as much. Definitely a tough match. It definitely had to be, like, on comms. They were definitely very sweaty. It was definitely a very sweaty match. But we still pulled it out in the end, obviously, due to, you know, our positioning and understanding of our character, but definitely room for improvement in the sense of, like, breaking certain walls and stuff like that, but that is, you know, comes with the territory, as maps do spawn randomly with different versions and aspects and of that. So it definitely is just more so of an understanding, as you can see by the builds there. Very we jump into another match on the Groaning Storehouse. Definitely a very tough map for an M1 killer. Main building is definitely going to be your biggest obstacle, but for that being said, we're going to review this gameplay as well. We're just going to see, you know, maybe because I definitely could say I'm a bit rusty in certain aspects here. Now, what I try to do here is get the stalking on the Nia, which is ideal, but we're definitely like surrounded by the whole team pretty much, so we kind of have a pretty decent position. We try to hide the light there, assuming that they would loop, but no, they just booked to Shack, so we don't go there. That's irrelevant. Michaela was also just kind of hiding there for no reason, so we just go ahead and force out a pallet. That's good for us, because, you know, they want to save themselves. You know, they don't want to get hit, right? So they want to save themselves, so that's why we then pull out that pallet. We're good to go. We got the M1 as well, because they missed the blind. We use it to our advantage. We see the Fang slow vault out that window, and then the scratch marks just kind of disappeared there. I guess they crossed over, but I didn't like really see that. I guess it was strange. I probably could have just you know, just went for the door first. That probably would have been the better option. Now I'm getting like revealed from like multiple angles. We're just going to M1 the Fang there. They seem pretty lost, so that's why we want to go after them specifically, just to really make sure we can get some pressure out of it. We hide the light, but they just ran right back around. I don't know what they're trying to do, but they just ran right back around. I think they're panicking. And then we get the down. Now here is where I'm not sure about this one. Like I felt as if it really wasn't necessarily my own fumble, because I just did not see anyone on that generator. I just assumed that would be the better gen to go to, but there was two people with possibly breakout, and then the prompt didn't appear, yada yada yada. So we just did not get that hook that we needed at the very beginning of the game to at least start to gain some pressure. So that does cost me a good amount. Now, we do end up getting background player blinded as per usual, because, you know, like, one thing is outplayed, like, you're like, alright, well, I just didn't know anybody was there, so that was just your own mistake. Another thing is getting out-perked, is what I call it. In that instance, that was an out-perk, because background player, you know, despite them not even being in the right position, they can just blind you because of speed boost. So either way, just not really able to counter that, just due to the fact that it's just background. So we just mark this one, and then we have to get this down, which costs us a lot of extra time, because we would have had at least 2 separate downs very early, but we just lose it because of a perk, you know, for that second time, which is just massively unfortunate, man. It's massively unfortunate. This one's like baiting a swing, because they like what they do is they run in and then run out to try to get you to swing at the air. I just wouldn't go for it. If they're going for a body block, even then I wouldn't go for it unless you know it's breakout or Well, even then, breakout. Not even, bro. Not even. It's tough to say. It's tough to say. But a lot of the time, I wouldn't recommend going for, you know, hitting anybody when you're holding anybody unless you're near the hook. Because of that fact. You know what I'm saying? Because of that fact that you want to just put them on the hook. You don't want to waste extra time swinging and then having to recover. So what I did was I just broke myself out of the shroud, so I can, you know, because at least 2 people are injured, so we don't really need to try to start stalking just yet. And we want our power on cooldown because we're going to get revealed anyway. Now we know that this Jeff is pulling up. We're trying to at least get a hit on him or like force a trade out. He does actually just kind of panic and run off, so that does give me the opportunity to kind of back up a bit. But unfortunately, they just kind of closed in without me really seeing that. That was, you know, my own eyesight, I think. And then as I went for Michaela, they just body blocked with base kit endurance, borrowed time or whatever. So I was like, damn. Which I don't know if that's like a thing now, or like if you try to like swing at the person who saves you, they can just kind of phase through that person and go in front of your hit. I don't know. Is that like a new feature? I don't know where that came from, but either way. You know, we just tried to go for that. Now you're gonna see she jumps in and out of the locker. I'm assuming it's to try to get them to blind, or unless you fumble, because I see that they're over here with the flashlight. Now one thing I'm gonna mention, it's very important when you're playing this game, this applies to any killer. If you see someone jumping in and out of a locker like that, be careful when going for that pickup, because of the fact that they can like if you pull them out of the locker normally, right, full animation, they lean in, grab them and pull them out, you won't get blinded. But if you're doing the animation where you yank them with your hand, you're yanking them out, like, and they're like, you're pulling them towards you, you can get blinded off of that. So it's possible that they were trying to set that up, and what I did was in that quick in that moment, I was like, I'm not gonna go for that. We're gonna just wait it out, extend your lunge a little bit so that it just knocks them onto the ground and not doing the actual grab, because that's gonna actually cost you. Now in this instance, it was fine. We only have like 2 hook states and we got 2 people surrounding us. Gens are like 99. We're in a bad spot once again, as per usual. And that usually stems from like a bad start. If you have a bad start, it's gonna you know, it's gonna cost you in a match like this, especially with the character that isn't very forgiving like Ghostface, where you make a mistake and it will cost you. You cannot, you know, make a comeback just happen, you know, unless you really know how to make it happen. You know what I'm saying? It's not easy. So with that being said, we see a lot of people around. We know that like background player is still in play, and we're in an area that's completely wide open, no wall, no nothing. It's like, sheesh. We are in a bad spot, but thankfully they crawled away toward a wall or something like that. They might be able to blind through that, but they just weren't nearby. They're probably just healing, because it's probably at least the 2, like the Michaela and the what's her name? The Nia is probably in like on comms in a team with together, because of just the way that they were playing. It's definitely together on comms and stuff like that. We know that for a fact, just due to the body language and whatnot. Now we're trying to, they do get the save, but we're trying to at least mark up the Nia, just so we can get that going. We figure that we can at least go for the Fung, as they are the weakling, but Nia's actually the one that we should be going for, but they aren't like, you know, marked or low health, like, or injured rather. Thinking about it in different terms, they're not injured, so we can't really get anything from that. Now this Fung should have been like the target from minute 1. Like, you can just tell they're slamming down them pallets like it's going out of style. Like they don't care. Now I was trying to get the mark there. I should have like realized they would run to the right side, go behind the wall, and then started finishing the mark to get the down off of them. But I figured because they were, you know, third-person camera, they can hide behind a wall and you can't see them, but they can still reveal you. I definitely think they should kind of rework that so that you have to also be, you know, out in the open to be able to reveal, so it's actually a little bit more, you know, fair, because it's because they could just be behind crates and bushes and nonsense and you can't see them, but then your power is gone. So it's like, ah, jeez. But either way, you know, if I were to like tweak the character, that's probably something I would want to add in, make it a little bit more like the Unknown, I guess, you know, where it's a little bit more forgiving, I would say. Well, maybe not, I don't know. Now, we get the down on this one. That means that 2 people are on Death Hook, and that also means that there's 2 gens that are 99. So we're not in a great spot. The The Jeff is just constantly just pre-running off somewhere else. You know, the second he even hears music, he's already hitting the jets. So it's just really hard to really get any value off of him. It could also be sprint burst, but thankfully, because they were getting greedy, they overextended, and that allows me to get the free down and kill on the Nia. So that's exactly what we're looking for. We needed that. So now we can go ahead and kick that generator. We have both gens that are regressing side by side, so we are in a position where we can kind of defend the area, but we just don't have enough time, considering there's still both 99 gens. There could easily be someone running by and tapping it, you know, and let alone the 2 other gens are also across the map, so they could easily just work on those. So we're just not in a position that's really favorable, and then we're also instantly revealed. So we're in a spot where we kind of need to go after the Michaela here. We try to go for a mind game, but it just doesn't really work, obviously. Which I feel like this wall is very long. What I should have probably done was like kind of mind game there, but I realized, but at this point in the match, I figure I just don't have the time to be messing around with the TNL. We just simply don't have time. Like, we just simply don't have time, especially when Jonah's on a gen that's already 99 already. Like, that's how it is, bro. Gen speeds are just fast. Especially when you have like teams like this that are like very dedicated to the objective. Like, it's going to be done quick. Like, you see this gen's already 99. Like like my timing could have definitely been a lot better. But you know, the start of the match is definitely where it got, like, it really got hairy. So, like, I really should have played that a lot better. But that leaves us with, like, what, 3 gens that are 99. So that's why Deadlock once again comes and gives us value. I was trying to lean off of the rock there, but they're already in cover, just due to angle and stuff like that. So massively unfortunate. We just end up getting instantly revealed. And we're just not in a position to be able to chase them. Like, they're not injured. They're not, like, we can't be wasting extra time to hitting somebody. All the way into a hook state and all that yada yada yada. Like, you just can't. You just don't have the time. You just do not have time, especially with, you know, every gen on the map being essentially 99. We're just not in a position to do that. We're getting revealed. He's running toward the gen, so we at least can kind of check on it. But what I should have done was broken off chase a lot sooner, because the one who was injured is the one I should have been chasing this whole time. I did attempt to at least get an M1, but I figured that it's just not worth it. Like, they're able to easily just stay across the map while the other one works on the generator. I should have broken chase a lot sooner, because now, you know, now the clown gets the gen done. So, gotta think about that for a second, you know what I mean? Now, what we can do here, we're at the Z wall here. What we're trying to do is kind of hide the light a bit, but ideally we're just trying to, you know, kind of mind game it here. I probably okay, well, aim assist kind of did that there. That's unfortunate. The down would have been there a lot sooner. That is massively unfortunate. Now he starts losing his mind, I guess, about it, which, I mean, as you saw there, it was just aim assist, which is just really unfortunate. Like, that can cost people games, just aim assist bugging out like that. Now what I did was I left him on the ground. I figured that we can at least attempt for a 4K. That is pretty much what we're going to strive for, because that was definitely a tough match. Just due to that, so Door was 99. I figured that they probably are going to try to pick up their teammate, most likely. If they have Unbreakable or something, maybe they could run to the door. But I was just looking around, figuring, like, where the heck could this, you know, survivor be, right? But I guess because they have no idea what they're doing, their positioning is just trash. I guess they were trying to hide or something. So that gave me the opportunity to catch them off guard, which is, you know, obviously I made sure that I wasn't, you know, out in the open too much. Like, when you're, you know, playing a character with stealth, you definitely want to also cut off lines of sight, just so that you can also gain that a little bit extra, you know, a little bit of extra distance. Because sometimes, if, like, especially, I would even say maybe even Pig, because you're so low to the ground, you might be able to go behind, like, rocks and stuff, and then, you know, get close enough so you can actually get the hit. Now, we also made sure we waited, because I know that the 4% becomes 104%, usually, right? So we wanted to eliminate that as an option, and we just waited out just in case. Now, I know if they had touched the door, they would have lost endurance, so I figured I knew that much. Now, we're just checking the corner of the map here, because we figured they might try to calm corner because of the fact that they were probably going to be the type to do that. That's why we have to, you know, keep that in mind in our little noggins. Now, the hatch does spawn, and take a wild guess where it spawns. No, because I heard it from here. I teabagged him. I'm like, wait a minute. Look at where the hatch was. Right next to him. I'm like, nope, nope, nope. Tell him no, 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 and then we give him the bags, and we eliminate him out of the game, and then we can also take a look at the builds. So definitely made sure he got all the bags he needed, like it was in a blowout sale. You know what I'm saying? Let's go ahead and take a quick look at the builds. They actually brought me to that map. Kind of sweaty builds, I'm not gonna lie, but no gen perks, so that was kind of crazy that all the gens were flying kind of quick. Even without gen perks, it's kind of insane, man. But let's go ahead and jump right into the next one. So we are here on the Sanctum of Wrath. Definitely a more useful map for a character like this, where you can kind of just go onto the high ground and be able to get some pretty good stalking in. Now, what we can see here is we're trying to get some good stalking in. They don't really know where I'm at, so we just decided to take advantage of that. That's usually the best way to start it. She does kind of panic there, so we just immediately get her down, and then we can immediately start to get the hook, you know. This is usually how you want to start a match, which I can definitely say, definitely good on my part. They did start doing that, like that wiggling. I think they did like the wiggling thing where they like spam it or something because they're quitting or something like that. So what I did was I just looked around, quickly got some stalking in, because I knew I was going to get revealed anyways, but I just wanted to make sure I get a little bit on the Cheryl here, and then force the pallet out, which because they decided to try to fake it, I was like, I'm going M1. I need to make sure that they know that they're going to get folded here. So that's why we then go ahead and, you know, hide the light, you know, or... you know the terminology. You see the screen, you know what happened. We hit them with the mind game, going crazy. You know what I'm saying? We definitely got them pretty quick. Now they're trying to use their base kit and, you know, BT again. I'm not gonna sit there and swing at that. This one's trying to sabo. We just took it. We just go ahead and swung at that. And we try to find where the Neo went. That would be the best case scenario, right? But this gen's about to go, so I decided to make sure we start marking the Fung, because they are running off, and usually that's what I'll do. Especially if they're just going to an area you don't care about. Like, why should I start chasing them? So we break out a Shroud, so we can use that to our advantage. Now here, once again, it happens like a third time this video. Like, we were just trying to go for a different survivor. No, they fly right in somehow, right on time, to make sure that they don't take a hit, which is insane, man. You know, which I just have to make sure I take note of that now. Like, I'm seeing that as a consistent mistake slash, you know, bug in the game or some nonsense, where they're just able to like zoom in front of my hit before I'm even able to aim it, which is a little strange. I'm gonna have to keep a note of that. But with that being said, I did look around here. I figured that we were in a pretty good position. We gave a new hook to about maybe 2 or 3 people. Not necessarily on purpose, but more so to play sort of into the flow of the match. That's usually what I recommend doing, is sort of playing to the pacing of the match. Which in this instance, obviously, is going to be kind of like, you know, they are playing it quite slow. And they are, you know, they definitely seem like, you know, not as sweaty, I guess, as the last 2 matches. We're just trying to get some stalking in as much as possible. We know that this is the same clown that we hooked before. So we try to get as much stalking as we possibly can in the more traditional sense that you usually see with a lot of Ghostface players. And in this instance, he just booked it and ran into my arms. So we just just went ahead and took him out. Now remember that we were defending this generator right here. This gen was like 99, so we were defending it pretty much the entire time, preventing it from being progressed, and then we're just using that to then push the game and slow the game down, so they have to go to a different gen, work on that one from the start, and then they waste more time that way. And then from there we notice, okay, that gen over there is the one that got blocked, so that means that the gen over here is basically just null and void. So that, and then they of course quit. We knew that was coming. And then we just go ahead and try to see what the vibes are, see what we do here. So now we're trying to look around, see maybe what the progress is on this gen. We might be able to spot somebody, so we're getting some M1s. Turns out that gen has a good amount of progress. We're trying to hide behind the gen. I'm just trying to like stalk them, but of course, you know, third-person camera, yada yada yada, as usual. Can't really get any stalking off of this per se, just due to the fact. So, and we actually got a bit of a lag spike there. That's unfortunate. They started like teabagging, I guess. But what I try to do is get some more stalking in, which we see them over there just booking into the other side of the map. I usually try to do that when they make some distance, and here is where we play the little mini game of hide and go, peekaboo with the survivors. Got revealed, but then I noticed while I was running that the other one thinks it's safe, so that's why we start going for them. Because the other one has a good amount of progress, so we use that to split pressure. We then go ahead and M1 that one so more people can be one shot. Which is essentially, sort of the mindset to have, is to always keep people marked or injured at all times. Not sure how they were able to outrun that swing there, but we were able to at least get the down that way. Now, we place them on the hook here, pretty much next to the gen that we know has the most amount of progress so far. And then I think it's been regressing the entire time, and that's good for us. So as you can see, we then start shifting toward, this is why I use Deadlock. I shift toward the gens that have that progress, so that we can slow the game down from there. And that's why I always recommend using Deadlock. I know people swear by Jolt, but I just use Deadlock for that reason, because the way I'm playing it is more around the slowdown aspect. So now we notice they're also another quitter, as we kind of expected. You know what I'm saying? We kind of expected this, because of just how fast and efficient that they're going down. I'm not even surprised. Now they go into the jungle gym here. We saw them from the window side, which means they probably saw me. So which they decided to hold W. This was the Feng from before that was from earlier, who was running away from the gen since the last time. Just kind of pre-running and pre-dropping, huh? Yeah, pretty much expected. God forbid they try to loop or anything. So we knew the vault was coming, so that's why we just kind of go around it. And then we just kind of go around again. We have our light hidden the entire time, so they don't know exactly where I'm looking. And then we're able to just get the down from there, and then we can go ahead and break the pallet for power and Spirit Fury at the same time. One of the main reasons why I usually run it with Olsen's Wallet is because I've been using this build for so long. It's just sort of been how I play it and how I go about it. Now there's other builds that I have used in the past that also are probably just as viable, but I would need more time with those builds to really gain a lot of value. Now, play with your food and stuff like that, definitely going to be considered one of the stronger builds. I would argue. But this build is a good all-arounder, where you can really just pull it out on any map and pretty much get value, because of the fact that a lot of maps are very pallet dense. You want to sort of avoid that as much as you can. Now we're gonna cut forward, because this Cheryl was just hiding the entire game, no exaggeration, the entire game. So I waited on Hatch for a while, assuming that maybe they would look for it and then I can get my 4K, because I did go ahead and just hook the Fung so they can at least move on with their lives. But unfortunately, I was not able to do that myself. So decided to wait it out. Didn't seem like they were gonna pop up, so I just gone ahead and closed the hatch. And then from here which at least the door spread wasn't too gigantic. At least it was enough to where I could gain a little bit of distance. And you're gonna see here how I went about it, because you don't want to push too far into one doorway, because you mostly want to make sure you can see where the light is at, and if maybe you see catch a scratch mark or something, Now you look around, seems like there's nobody there, and that's pretty much how it's been with this particular player. They were just absolutely hiding all game, just not trying to play, trying to save the Fung or anything like that, just being very, very petty. As we kind of come to expect. This is usually what ends up happening. Which, mind you, right? If we're talking in terms of Survivor rule books, right? Because I don't follow their rules. Okay, their little rule book that they made up. But in this gameplay, you could say, in this section, hey man, the Ghostface didn't really tunnel anybody, and they still caught a tantrum. You're gonna see this one starts looking up into the sky for some reason. I'm honestly, they should be embarrassed. So that's why we're gonna make sure we give them the bags, because they were letting their teammate die. I cut that part out because it was just a long time of walking around trying to find them. They were just letting their teammate bleed out. So I made sure I was just going to eliminate the Fang so they could just move on, and then I would just start bagging this one because they deserve it for just playing hide and go seek all day. I'm like, come on now, at least go for a door, or at least try to find hatch, do something. but yeah, I mean, like, if we're considering the rule book, right? Like, I technically, right, was following quote unquote the rule book in this particular match, just because I was just more so playing towards what I found to be the most pressure, at the time. So it wasn't deliberate. Like, I was like, oh, I'm gonna play fair, but it just so happened to be that way. So with that being said, they still ended up, quitting and getting mad about it anyway, even though technically speaking, I was playing fairly. So in other words, you can't win, like, in that sense. And quite literally, you can't win because they get mad if you win. They get mad if they lose their minds if you don't. It's a mess. These players, man, it's ridiculous. It's the players, man. It's a lot of people that do this stuff. It's on both sides too. Don't get me wrong. But that's why we're just giving them the craziest like BM as we can. You know what I'm saying? Because that's not fair. Like, why are you letting your teammate bleed out the whole game? That's like, come on, bro. Like, in this instance, I'm like, come on. Like, people want to move on with their lives. Like, we don't need to be here all day. So that's why I wanted to make sure I do that. So hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you guys learned something. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. And become a member for exclusive content, perks, all that kind of stuff. Go ahead and join the Discord, link in the description. You can submit match reviews from there, so that you can submit any killer match that you have. As long as it's like maybe you took a loss or it was a tough match and you just wanted to know how you could have probably played it a lot better, submit the match review. We'll put them out, so that other players can also look at them and also get better and learn, so that everybody else can get some wins and have fun again. So that being said, hopefully you guys enjoyed this one, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Or I guess I will.